Now that we've decided what kind of app you're going to create, it's time to create our outline. Our outline has two purposes. Number one, it helps us get ready to create the actual app and gives us something to work off of as a reference when it's time to build the app itself. Number two, it's going to give us some practice in the linking skills that we're going to need to use to make our actual app work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a blank slideshow and we're going to get ready to set up the outline of our slides. I'm going to start with my title slide, and where it says click to add title, I'm just going to put the name of my app. So in this case, I'm just going to call it Ms. M's app. Where it says click to add subtitle, I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. So I'm going to click on this light gray line that goes around it. So I have it selected and press backspace to get rid of it. Now on the home page here, this splash screen, I'm going to want people to click on a picture or icon to go to the main menu. So I'm going to go up to my shapes menu here, the circle and the square, and I'm going to choose a shape to be my button. This is our rough draft of our app, so this may not be the actual shape that you use. We'll have some other options when it comes time to make the final version of the app. For right now, we just want a placeholder. So I'm going to go with the sun icon, and I'm going to draw the sun on here. This is going to become the button that people click when they want to go to the main menu. We're going to come back to this in a few minutes and make it actually clickable. But for now, we need to start creating the rest of our slides. To make my next slide, I want a very specific kind of slide. I'm going to come up here, but I'm not going to click the plus sign. Instead, I want to look right next to it to this little triangle, and it says New Slide with Layout. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to show me all of my choices. I want to come down to the middle slide in the second row that says Title Only, and I'm going to click on it. This gives me a slide that has a title bar at the top and a blank space underneath. This is exactly what I need for the rest of my slides. This second slide is going to be my main menu. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to call it Main Menu. When we make our outline, it's very important that we have good descriptive titles for each of our slides, because that's going to be very useful when it comes time to link them at the end of this process. So my main menu is going to be where I have my buttons. To make my buttons, and again, these are rough drafts, so it's not necessarily the exact button you're going to use, I'm going to come up to my shapes again, just like I did on the first slide, and choose a shape to be my button. I like this one with the bevels. It looks a little more 3D to me, but you can choose any shape you want. I'm going to draw out a button and put it on my screen. Now, again, with this being a rough draft, you can leave it plain, but if you want to get a little more creative and have some fun, you can go up to your paint bucket, change your colors, play with your font and your other stuff if you want, but it is also fine to leave it just plain gray. On our main menu slide, we're going to add our buttons for however many pages of our app we have. Your app should end up being at least 6 slides long, including your beginning slide, your little home page there, and our main menu, which means you need at least 4 other slides underneath. So that means you need a minimum of 4 buttons, and you can certainly have more than that if you need it. I have several different ways I can do this, but the easiest way is to just copy and paste or duplicate this button over and over again. I can click on it and do Control-C, Control-V. I can go up to Edit and choose Copy and Paste. I have the duplicate option here, but I find it easiest just to click on it so it's selected and do Control-D as many times as I need. So I'm going to have 6 buttons on mine. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to line up my buttons. Again, with this being our rough draft, they don't need to be perfectly aligned, but you can also use those red guidelines to help you line them up if you want to. I'm going to try and keep my buttons from being too low underneath. I don't want them all the way at the bottom of the slide because it's going to make things a little tricky if they're too close to the bottom when we go to add links later. So make sure you're leaving a gap at the bottom here when you add these buttons. Once you have your buttons added, it's time to label them. So I'm going to double click to get my blinking line, and then I'm going to label each one. This one is cat pics. Then we have dog pics. This one is my book review. Oops, let's spell that correctly. This one is my playlist. This one is cool sites. And remember that your last one should be a citations page. You need to have that citations page. Because this is my rough draft, it's okay if my writing gets chopped up a little bit like this. We'll fix that on the real app. But if it bothers you, simply go in, highlight it, and shrink your font down until it fits better. Now that I have these buttons on here, I'm ready to make the rest of my slides. These are going to go pretty quickly. I already told it I like the slide that just has the title bar and an empty slide underneath. So now I can click my plus button to add a new slide, and I should get the same kind. I'm going to add a title to each one based on what my buttons were. My first button was cat pics, so this one is going to be cat pics. I'll add another one. This one is my dog pics. After that, we have our book review. After my book review, I had my playlist. My cool sites. And last, don't forget your citations. So now I have each of these slides just about ready to go. I'm going to go back to my first one of my button slides. So this is my cat pic slide. Each of these slides underneath the menu needs to have a way to get back to this main menu slide. So I'm going to go to my shape tool, and again, I'm going to pick something to be my back button. I'm going to use the back arrow, but you can use any shape you want. And again, this may change when we make the real app. For now, we just want it to represent going back. So I'm going to use this arrow, and I recommend putting it in the top right corner, again, so that it is easier when we go to link it. And I'm just going to double click and type back on it. So now I want to put this on each of my slides. I could do this the long way and go in and draw it out on each slide, or we can do this the quick way, which is to copy and paste this onto each one. If you're going to copy and paste, there's one more step we need to do before we copy it, and that is make sure that it links back to the main menu slide. To do that, I'm going to click on the arrow so that this shape is selected. And again, your shape might be different, but make sure your shape is selected. Then I'm going to look for my link button, which is right here. You can also use Control K or go to Insert on the menu bar and choose Link. When I click on this, it gives me the option to put a link into a website. I want to look underneath that where it says Slides in this presentation. When I click on it, it gives me a list of all of my slides. I want the back button to go to the main menu. So it'll say slide 2, main menu, and I'll click apply. Now, this is linked to take people back to slide 2. Once that link is in there, I'm going to Control C to copy, go to my next slide, Control V to paste, and it's still linked to slide number 2. It also puts it in the same spot on each slide, so I'm just going to go to each of my slides and Control V to put that back arrow in there. So now all of my slides have a back arrow. I'm going to jump back up to my first slide, which is the splash screen here. And now I'm going to start adding in my other links. I want people to go to the main menu when they click on this button. So just like we did with the back arrow, I'm going to click on the shape. I'm going to click on my link button. And on here, I'm going to choose main menu. Don't forget to click apply. Then I can go to my second slide and do the same thing for each of these, only instead of linking to slide 2, I'm going to link them to the correct slide. So I'm going to click on Cat Pics, click my link button, click on slides in this presentation, and find Cat Pics and apply. Same thing for dog pics, and we're just going to keep doing this until all of them have their links. Once they're linked up, we are about ready for the last step, which is to test it and make sure that everything works correctly. So there's my playlist. Now you'll notice when I get down here near the bottom, I have a hard time seeing all of my slide options. If that happens, come up to View on the menu bar, go to Zoom, and zoom out a bit. Just do it one zoom at a time. So now I can click on link, click on slides, scroll down. Oh, now I can see cool sites and add it. My last one, citations, scroll down. Oh, I can't quite see it. So I'm going to go up to view one more time, go to zoom, zoom out, click on that last little button there. And let's try it. Oh, that's much better. Citations, apply. Once I've done that, to get back to regular view, go to view, zoom, and fit, and you should be back. When I zoom in, I notice, uh-oh, this one got a little weird here. That's not quite what I wanted. So I am going to click my undo button. And what happened was I had clicked too many times and got my blinking line. I'm going to click off of it and click on the button again and go back and add my link. Again, I can't quite see it, so let's go to view, zoom, zoom out. See if I can get away with doing it just one zoom out. Ooh, I can just see it right on the edge there. Make sure it says citations and apply. So let's go back to our view again, zoom and fit. Perfect, much better this time. So our last step before turning it in is to test it out. I'm going to go ahead and click present. Here's my main screen of the app when I first get here. If I click on the sun, it should take me to the main menu. Click on Cat Pics, brings me to Cat Pics. Back arrow brings me back. And you want to test each of these to make sure that they work. If they are all working correctly, perfect, you may go ahead and turn it in.